Right then, after all that excitement yesterday, that bike just deciding to start. I mean, I honestly wasn't expecting it to do that. I was just hoping it'd cough and make a noise, but yeah, it just ran. Awesome. Okay, back to these things. I don't know if you remember this one. This is the one that I thought may be savable. Just weld a piece on there. Well, you'll not be able to see in there, but down in there there's supposed to be two baffles, and I found one of them inside the collector box, so I'm still not sure. But I've also got this one. Now this one's okay. It's got a decent connector down here. There's some little cracks around there, but nothing to worry about. It's got both the baffles in it, and then it's just got this one problem. The hanger's bust off it. So I think where we're going with this one is there's a hanger. So I'm thinking, you know, snip this off here about where it actually bends over. That's exactly where it snapped off. So I'm thinking snip this off there, snip what's left of this one off there, and put that one onto that one. A little bit of TIG welding required, and then we should have reasonable exhausts. That one needs a bit of work. It's a bit on the scratch side compared to that one, but yeah, it's not in bad nick. So I think that'll do us. Right then, now that we know everything basically works, now it's time to start fixing some stuff and putting some stuff right. I want to keep this sensible, not going to go daft. And as you can see, WD-40 is already doing its magic. It's just a week's worth of just coating things down. So I think I'm going to start at the back end here. I've already removed that toolbox, which took me ages. I couldn't find out how that was attached, and basically look in there, there's just a trim. Actually wasn't even attached to it, so it was moving, it was quite loose, but the way it actually attaches is it just slides into these two things here, and then it's got a trim, I don't know what these things are called, grommet, same as the side panels. It basically pops in. So I've done that. Then there's two screws under here, underneath here, that hold this back end together. I think we're going to get this panel off. Can't really see how I'm going to do it without it, so we're going to need to undo the top of the shocks, which is no problem. Back wheel will just drop down, and then I think that's it. I think oh, I'm going to obviously disconnect this lot, and that whole back end should come out. So reason for doing that is I want to get to this. It's rusty on the underneath, and it's rusty on top, so I'm just going to rub that down, stick some etch primer on it, and I've got some satin black acrylic, so I'll just that's just left over from doing the 125. Oh yeah, while we're at it, I never did the battery box on the 125, so yeah, I'll do that at the same time. All right, job plan for today then. Okay, so that came over apart quite easily, with one little exception. That little loose bolt there is attached to spider webs. Yeah, bit of metal. It's not supposed to be. It's not even supposed to be still in there. This inner fender is still attached because of that bolt. And basically, here's the back end. So sissy bar, rear fender, which actually looks quite nice. It's got some odd holes in it now. A couple of cracks here we're going to have to fix. And look, look at that in a minute. And then we've just got to strip this down now, but yeah, that's the bolt hole which for some reason decided to tear itself out of there. So have a think how we can repair that, because that's, yeah, that's required. I just turned back round to look at this thing. What does that say to you? Because part of me says bobber. Make a beast of a bobber, wouldn't it? Possible, possible. Do we want to go that way? Not sure. Okay, rain just stopped play for a second or two there. Just going to take a minute just to address a couple more of my mistakes. So those shock absorbers are undone, but something dawned on me. First thing I thought, why didn't they drop? They didn't drop because they go over the top of some lugs here, so they didn't drop down. But what else occurred to me was I never set the preload on these bearings. Basically I just tightened them up because I was just putting it back together. So I must remember I need to knock that castle nut back off there, set the preload on this bearing, so otherwise if it's too tight, basically this arm ain't going to move because you're crushing the bearings. So it's a simple enough job. I just didn't do it at the time. You've got to set these to about 15 foot-pounds or something like that. So mistake number one. Mistake number two, and then also I said that was the overflow for the radiator, but it isn't. That's the overflow for the radiator. Not quite sure what that is, so I'm going to go away and find out. So yeah, just me making mistakes again. Still need to do this. As I keep saying on these, I'm not an expert. I make a lot of mistakes, but I learn by taking them apart, to be honest, and just reading the manuals. So we just make sure when we put it back together, I'm going to go through this, you know, nut by nut, and make sure that everything's let's be honest, I'm not going to get the torque wrench out for everything. I've got an arm that tells me when it's torqued, but some things like that, and like the other side of it, which should be 100 foot-pounds, need to be torqued. And if you're sensible, you know which bits need torquing and which bits just need tweaking. So yeah, going to carry on and get this bolt out, pull all these out of here, get the rear inner fender off, and then I can get up in here and start having a look at, I want to get that fuel pump out, which is just two floating bolts on rubber mounts here that let the thing move a little bit, because they do vibrate. I'm not convinced it's working, so I want to get it out and just test that out properly. So I think we'll also carry on and do that, but that will then do us for the day, I think. I'm a little bit stuffed because I haven't got a workshop, so when the heavens open up, I don't want to be sat out here working while it's raining, and I can't paint it while it's raining because, again, no workshop. I just do it outside, hang them up. So a little bit scuppered. And it's supposed to clear up again this afternoon, so maybe I'll get a bit more done then. Well, I was just covering this up, and a bit annoyed now because I was just uploading that last little bit of video, and while I was watching it, I spotted something. I don't know if anybody else saw it. That bloody thing. Now, has that gone all, oops, Has that gone all the way through? Yeah, I would guess it has. I mean, tyre's not going down, but that's a screw. That's been in there a while as well by the looks of it. Shame. Look at this tyre, it's awesome. Except for that. So we're going to have to take that out and just deal with the consequences. What a shame. Oh well, never mind. I think that's enough for today.